Jon Jones is quite possibly the best mixed martial artist to be walking the planet in the current day.
He might be the greatest talent that we've ever seen in the UFC.
He was a special fighter when he came into the UFC.
This kid is the now generation.
And he's just gone from strength to strength. I'm Dan Hardy, and these are my top 5 Jon Jones moments. Number 5, becoming the youngest champion in UFC history. I remember when the Jon Jones Shogun Rua fight was made, it kind of split the whole mixed martial arts community. The old school people that knew what Shogun was capable of, they'd followed him through his pride career and they'd seen the best years of Shogun, they knew how dangerous he was. And then there were the new wave of fans, the Jon Jones era, the guys that had got on board because they saw Jon Jones and how talented he was. And it was like we had 2 different groups of people following 2 careers until they met.
Shogun and Jones for the light heavyweight title.
The first exchange, 30 seconds in, Jon Jones locks up a head and arm choke and trips Shogun to the mat.
Big takedown.
There was a silence through half the arena because everybody all of a sudden realized that the old school could no longer compete with the new school. Jon Jones was beating Shogun to the punch, he was handling him in the clinch. It was amazing to see with someone as dangerous as Shogun. A young man like Jon Jones, stepping in for his first title shot, 6 weeks notice, taking on a legend like Shogun, and becoming the youngest light heavyweight champion of all time.
Jon Jones is the youngest champion in UFC history!
Number 4, dramatically submitting Lyoto the Dragon Machida. A lot of people were anticipating Machida was going to be a real challenge for Jon Jones because he was a seasoned striker, he was a lifelong martial artist, and he had a very unorthodox style.
Oh! Pushing forward again is Machida!
But again, a playful Jon Jones was able to control the octagon with his superior size and range and technical ability.
Oh! He's got a choke! Trying to choke him out. He's dead again! Lyoto's in trouble!
When you see him just drop Machida in a heap against the fence, all of a sudden you go, there's an edge to this guy. He cranked that neck until he was unconscious, and he knew he was unconscious. And there was no lowering him down, there was no letting the referee step in. It was literally just release. Let him go. Let everybody see what I've just done to this man. Number 3, the armbar escape against Vitor Belfort. Vitor Belfort was another one of those guys that had attained legendary status when he was still competitive. Jon Jones always handled people so well against the fence, but people always slept on the black belt of Vitor Belfort.
Oh, armbar! He's got it! He's got it right here! Jones trying to power out of it!
Oftentimes when you see someone that's cruised all the way to a championship like that, when they find themselves in deep water for the first time, there's a panic. And that's when their heart comes into question. And what we saw about Jon Jones in that moment is that you can take that limb and I'll hit you with the other one.
I think he's out, he's out, he's out. Wow.
That's an additional attribute that I think is uncoachable in fighters. You're either born with that or you're not. And to see that in Jon Jones as well as all of the other things that he has, who do we find to challenge him? Number 2, coming back from the brink against Alex Gustafsson. When Jones was matched up against Gustafsson, we've got 2 tall guys, and they're going to challenge each other in the striking range. Gustafsson was out of the gates very quickly. His footwork was on point, he was moving very well, he was punishing Jon Jones because he was a step behind, and then when it came to the 4th round, I personally had Gustafsson ahead on the cards.
There's a lot of anxiety in the corner of the champion, Michael. Here's a nice
He feinted to the lead leg to force Gustafsson to lower his level, and then he came spinning round with the elbow. Because it was such a big statement late on in the fight, it was difficult to score against Jon Jones after that. That's why we call them the championship rounds. That's where champions show themselves. Over a 3-round fight, Gustafsson wins. But over a championship fight, Jon Jones shows you why he's the champion. And at number 1, his epic rivalry with Daniel Cormier. In sports, we love a good rivalry.
Every ounce of training you put in leading up to this fight will be a waste of your life.
We also love a really competitive matchup, but it's very rare that you get a competitive matchup with 2 guys that really don't like each other, and they just happen to be to in the world.
Big kick by John. Good right hand by DC.
Going into the first fight, Daniel Cormier was searching for the man that would be his equal, the person that would challenge him.
He's really taking it to DC.
When he met John Jones, he realized that there was someone not only his equal, but he was his superior in the combat sports world.
He's looking at his superior, man, he just can't handle it.
Your head's more in the clouds than I could ever.
You're my little...
In the second fight, he started off really well.
Looks like he knocked the mouthpiece out. Good start here.
But John Jones reads you and he sees his opportunity.
Cormier's in big trouble. That's it. He's out.
You always feel in a competitive match like that you can run it back and see something different. When you've got that storyline going into it, the narrative, that gives the fans and the media something to get their teeth into.